Hey guys,
Hi.
welcome to another amazing show. You are with Real Women Atlanta Live. I am your host, Charmaine Moss, and today I am joined by an amazing young woman who is the co-host today. Thank you, Kristen Kinder. Thank you for being with me.
It is my absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Many of you will remember that Kristen was one of the guests on the show. She's got an amazing hat line that she's doing. She introduced it to you all when she was on the show a couple weeks ago, and I have brought her in now to be the co-host. We had such a great time on that show, and she's a part of the magazine. She's a creative director and editor of Real Women Atlanta magazine, and we've got some amazing things coming forth. And so I'm just excited to have you on with Real Women, Kristen.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. I'm elated, man. It's good. It's real. I'm looking in our center piece right here, so I'm ready for that intro.
Absolutely. So I'm going to let you do the honor.
Listen, let me tell you something. This one in the middle, before I even say her name, let me just tell you some facts. We're talking about mogul realtor. We're talking about financial advisor, social media influencer in real life, mom, wife, business mogul. She has a collection coming out. We're going to get to that a little later, but it's so much. I mean, I'm trying to stop because I do want her to say hello. Introducing to some, presenting to others, Miss Sherelle Anderson. Welcome.
Miss Sherelle.
Wow. Thank you so much. Y'all have no idea how that feels. But I will tell you that I love and edify and celebrate you as well. Thank you for having me on this platform. One thing about me is that I always see relationships as those that we have to create, because everything being about relationships, we can't take it for granted when we meet someone. You never know when someone might need the information that you have. And so sharing it, as they say, sharing is caring.
Yes.
It really, really is. And so what you all do is tremendous in the community. I absolutely appreciate what you do, Charmaine, I'm sorry. And Kristen, I'm looking at the hats behind you, and I can't wait to get to that as well. I remember when I met Kristen, I knew her light was shining anyway, because that's what drew me to her.
Right.
The fact that she's always out here in the community serving and, empowering people. That's what I like connecting to. So here I am on your show, really, to talk to everyone about what I do.
Right.
Okay, I'll tell you.
Well, we're excited to have you. I've heard so much about you from Kristen, and I was happy that you agreed to do the show. I was excited that you were a part of the magazine, and we were able to profile you as one of the women to watch in Metro Atlanta. And I know that there are other things to come out of this. So I'm really excited to have you on.
Oh, I loved it. There's a trend going on TikTok, right? With the red background. And when I saw that, I thought about that. And I said, okay, well, we're going to have to make this thing trend. Because, oh, wow, thank you so much for that spotlight. It really means a lot to me.
Wow. So tell us about Sherelle Anderson.
Well, Sherelle Anderson is a wife, mom, and a boss. Okay, I'm gonna say that, and I need y'all to understand that no matter where people come from, whether they're shy, whether they're in a situation that's not too appealing, anybody can be their own boss. You just got to feel it. It's all about posture, right?
Right.
So for me, I've been in real estate now 17 years, almost 18 years. I've been a mom for 31 years, almost 32 years. I've been a wife for 33 years and a grandma for 4 years. Those are the most important roles in my life. Okay. Outside of that, I absolutely know that I was created to empower and enhance, embrace women. Mostly. I love the guys too. I won't forget them. But I know my purpose is women. And the reason how I know it so clearly is because I've been through all kind of HE double hockey sticks. Can I say that? Okay.
Speak it.
Been through all kind of that. And I asked God, okay, what am I here for? And I remember God saying, I preserved you. And see, it ain't like
wow.
You ask the question and you could just get the answer, from anybody. But God said, I preserved you, which explains how, as a child and as a teenager growing up in circumstances that was just horrible and still loving people. So the moral of the story is still loving and celebrating people.
Right.
And I actually enjoy doing that. And so I found myself being able to hear stories of women that were molested, abused as children. And they're trying to find themselves. They find themselves stuck in situations because they don't know where to go, who to tell, who to trust.
Yeah.
And so I find also that many of them are stuck because of being controlled by finances.
Yeah.
And so when I got into this industry, I knew that it wasn't just about credit, about finances, about money. It was more so about a lifestyle where you can actually be independently wealthy on your own without having to be subjected to somebody else's words, somebody else's actions. So really being able to be a boss in your own right. And I really love it. I really do. And in doing that, I found a lot about myself.
Wow.
She's strong. I found that out. I knew that the word said, the race is the endured and the race to the
swift,
all that.
To the swift. Yes.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew that God didn't put more on us than we could bear. I read that.
Yes.
But I witnessed it. I witnessed that.
Wow.
And in doing that, I've been able to meet some amazing people. And I always tell people when I meet them, because I want them to understand where I'm coming from. Like, I have a duty. I have a responsibility to prove to you that I belong in your life. So that when I tell them, you also have a responsibility to prove that you belong in mine, they won't be offended. We got to teach people how to treat us, right?
Right.
We've been through enough. We don't want to have to keep going in those cycles. So I help women and men. But I know, again, my purpose is my ladies, my queens. So I help them understand that in order to have a fulfilled life, you got to have some things in order. And in order to not have to be dependent on things that may not be to their best interest, you have to have things in place. So make sure you get your finances in order. You want to make sure you have your credit in order, because once your credit is in order, everything else really falls in place. Nobody can tell you can't go there, or you can't buy that, or you can't live here, or you can't drive that. You can't own this. Nobody can tell you that if everything is in place, right? So that's my mission. My mission is to help people understand their true purpose.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So tell me this: at what point in your life did you discover this, or did you pick up this mantle to want to help people, help women with their finances. What was going on, Sherelle, in your life?
Good question. I want people to understand that even if you're married, you go through financial situations. Okay. Even if you're a real estate agent, you go through financial situations. It can happen. I actually had a stroke. I had a stroke 16 years ago now.
Wow.
And I was in a really bad car accident, and they called it an accident-induced stroke because I had no high cholesterol, no high blood, none of that. I had a car accident and resulted in a stroke. And I was on my way to a job, hated it. Story. And I actually was stopped in my tracks. And so from that moment, my life changed. I could no longer afford the home that we were in, even though we had two incomes. I couldn't afford the lifestyle that we had. So we lost that big, beautiful home. I always tell people, theater room, 2 staircases, cul-de-sac, we bred dogs, we had everything. But guess what? Everybody on Craigslist was coming to the house to buy everything that I needed to sell.
Wow.
Humbling experience.
That's real.
Okay, so just because you go through bad situations financially does not mean you're a bad person. I wasn't a bad person, wasn't then, and I'm not now. But that happened. And so I had to realize, wait a minute. And by the way, I had a real estate license. Okay, I lost my home, filed bankruptcy, lost 2 cars in repossession. Medical bills like crazy. Couldn't even afford the household expenses. We lost it all. And I had 3 small kids that I had to explain why we were taking them out of a great school system and putting them in what we thought was a better school system. And life just was hell on wheels. And it was just like, wait a minute, this is not how my life is supposed to be. Got to have another source of income. Got to have another way to say, I don't want to move out of my house until I'm ready. But we were forced to. So that really is what made me realize that there's some things that has to change. And no matter what we do as adults, if we're not properly educated, we're not going to make it. We're going to go into the same circles consistently trying to figure out, what am I really doing wrong? We're not taught finances. I was not taught. Been in real estate. I knew how to sell homes, but unfortunately I couldn't even save my own, and certainly couldn't go buy another one. Right. Then we borrowed y'all wouldn't believe, we borrowed a 2-seater pickup truck with a family of 5. Imagine that.
Wow.
Imagine that. My kids sitting on my lap to get to school. There's a whole nother story. But what really made me realize my life was not going as I wanted it to was that when I said, wait a minute, I'm losing things and I don't know how to pick it up. I don't know how to do this, or I don't know financially how to do that. So when the company that I'm with now came into my life, I started realizing, wait a minute, now the light bulb is coming on. Now I know how to manage my money. Now I'm a master of my finances. I want to help other people to see that, so they don't have to sit on the laps of their family members trying to get to destinations that they have to go to. So they won't have to borrow from Peter and Rob and Paul and all of those things, so that they can actually say, okay, you know what? We have this saved up. My budget is this. I know how to get to from A to Z. And I know how to do that without stressing out, without losing my marriage and my mind. My children, being upset because they're being uprooted, because I went through that too. And it's time for change. So many of us were taught the wrong things when we were little, when we were growing up. I know my family always said, if you don't have the cash, you don't need it. Well, that's not right.
Right.
We can keep all the cash you want, but on paper, what are you? You don't.
That's true.
You can't prove anything.
Yeah.
And so I've taken that experience and I'm running with it. And I want more people to run with it, because in this day and age, we cannot afford to turn away from what we need to know just because of what we're used to.
I'm gonna ask you something, real. In the current pandemic, everybody was kind of flipped upside down, everybody's life. how would you encourage somebody to even push through the strange variable?
Getting their finances together, because one thing this pandemic made us realize is that we cannot live off of one source. That's what happened. People had one source of income. We were ready for 2020. We had clear vision. We were ready. And then boom, sit down, get home and figure it out. Y'all, I even created a website called clearvision.net. I was ready.
You see clearly, we good. But I know that, we went through that last year, and you want, now people to get their finances together. In your situation, you had lost everything. You had nothing. Mm-hmm. So everybody's excuse will be, I don't even know where to start. I don't have money to start. I don't know where to go. Like, how do you process that, your mindset, to even get to that place? Like, I know I need to get my finances together. I know I need to get a house. I know I need to get good credit. How do you even get to the point of that thought to move? What would you say about that?
When you're at rock bottom, where you gonna
go? That's good.
Okay, so yes, you do have the money. Guess what? Guess where the money is going? It's allocated for different things. For instance, with bad credit, our car insurance is higher. You got to have car insurance, right? You're gonna pay it.
Yes.
Just imagine if you have a higher credit score, and then 3-6 months later, you can call your insurance company and say, "I need you to reevaluate this," and then your insurance gets dropped lower. Your premiums are lower. Imagine that. So you have it, but you're paying it higher in rent because you can't own a property. So you're paying $1,600 for a 2-bedroom, 1,200 square foot, when you can own 4,000 square feet and spend $1,300. Okay, you have the money. We're just not taught how to put it in the right place.
Yeah.
And that's the real issue. Because in the 70s and the 80s, when we were growing up, we were given this pathway of urban journeys. And if you really look at the people that were giving us that information, where are they? I can tell you what the ones are that told me, don't get credit, don't worry about a checking account. Yeah. They're asking me for money.
Wow.
They're asking me, what are you doing? They're in the same city doing the same mundane work that they know they want to get out of, but they don't have the mindset. And hear me clearly, this is not a bash on anyone, because we were all brought up, almost all of us were brought up thinking the wrong things because we're not educated. Right. It's over 70 million people with bad credit.
Yes.
So that tells you that don't go home and get mad at your parents because they didn't know. Now don't go home and get mad at your parents because they didn't know. Okay, it's not in the curriculum. And so we have to do better. We got to educate ourselves. We got to do better. And I want people not to have to go in the same situation I ended up in.
Right.
Losing it all and trying to figure out, like, how am I selling somebody a house and I can't even keep my own? I don't want anybody to have to go through that if they don't have to.
Right.
I don't want the same people that told me do this to keep telling people to do that when there's an educated way to avoid it. I want people to see the right ways. And if you don't believe me, educate yourself in different, go to different sources and just kind of put it all together and make sure that it makes sense to you. That's what I would recommend. But I'm here as a voice to at least, do what I can, do my part. One person today is help, then I'm satisfied.
Man, he's screaming loud, all the way from Facebook to Instagram to TikTok. Now, so here's the thing, right? So I've known Sherelle, and I've known her, but I didn't have TikTok, right? But I knew TikTok was huge. So one day I'm scrolling down, Charmaine, and I see one of her videos, and I'm like, let me download TikTok and go to Sherelle's. I go to Sherelle's page. Sherelle's viral. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? And it's women. Oh my God. I love your lipstick. Oh my God. You're hilarious. Oh my God. Tears. That was great. How do you explain that massive success? How did you even get there?
I don't know. I did a video and it was so funny because I was being me. I was just lip syncing to someone else. And my normal mannerisms
crazy
was like, it blew up. And before I knew it, I'm looking at my phone. It went from 5,000 views to 60,000 views to 80,000 views. Next thing I know, I woke up the next morning, it was like 1.1 million.
Wow.
Be authentic. I'm just me. And right. I can tell you from that stroke, as a human as I can be, I am very authentic, because if I'm not, I will forget what I did. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Some of the after effects, I might forget. So I try to do the best that I can as a human to be consistent. And so that's all I did on TikTok. And when people see your heart, they're going to follow you. When people really see that you're consistently you, unapologetically you, and whether it's offensive to other people, some people, and like, you go girl to others, it's who I am. And the bottom line is I celebrate you and I love you to life, and that's it.
And these, Charmaine, they follow whatever Sherelle does. Now Sherelle has this thing with red lipstick. Now we had a conversation about this red lipstick. So I pray, what is the move for the lipstick, Sherelle?
You know what? Coming up, I was always called soup cooler lips. Y'all ever heard that term?
No.
Soup cooler.
Soup cooler.
They're so big that you can cool a bowl of soup just like that.
I have never.
Really? Neither one of you. They're pretty large. Well, you have women working to get them my size in this day and age, right? I got them for free. But that's what I used to be called, soup cooler. So I never wore bold lipstick. I always kind of wore glosses coming up. And then one day my nail tech said, you should try red. And she was like, what's one of your favorite fast cars? I was like, a Ferrari. She was like, no way. I have a color called Ferrari red.
Wow.
I said, let's try it. And I said, I wonder if I can put on a red lipstick. And I did. And I guess I chose the right brand because it didn't come off when I ate. And I was like, I'm in love. It's over. And then I started getting compliments. And so now I'm known as the girl with the red lips and short blonde hair.
Wow.
Okay. I like it.
Well, that's you.
Yeah.
That's you. You know, a lot of people can't wear that style, but that is you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that is
you. It came from, I actually got my hair damaged. It's been blonde for a couple of years, but it was, the stylist, she put too much volume in there when she bleached my roots and she took it through my hair. It was really long and beautiful. And my hair came out like it was raining. It was just coming out. Wow. And so one day I went live on Facebook and I gave my husband and my oldest son a pair of clippers, and they enjoyed themselves. They just started whacking it off like Edward Scissorhands on live video 2 years ago.
And you're so naked with everything that you do. You're open. That's very courageous. And, you know, for a lot of people, they're saying it's social media. Everybody that need to know my business. What do you say to that?
I would prefer you to know who I am transparently than to see a fake version. I can't be fake. So it's like, I better be who I am on social media. Because if by chance we meet in person, I don't want to shock you.
Right.
It's me. And I'm not ashamed. That's the part of being in love with God. I'm not ashamed. I mean, he made me the way he made me, and he gives me visions and insight that I am honored to have. And I know it's not something that he gives to everybody. And so I better plug up my computer. And so I take that as a way to say, okay, let me show them who God is through me.
Mm.
And that's it. And if someone doesn't like it, doesn't like me, then they're welcome to continue to scroll.
Mm.
I don't have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I remember listening to a comedian years ago, Lavelle Crawford,
Mhm.
years ago
Mhm.
on stage. And he said, people always ask me why I always talk about being fat.
Mm.
He's really large at the time.
Right.
And he said, I say it before you can.
Mm.
And that touched me. It's like, wait a minute, you're right. If you say it, nobody can make fun of you.
Wow.
You've acknowledged that you're larger. And I love that. And I acknowledge that I was a wounded teenager. I was a high school dropout. I was a 16-year-old mom.
Wow.
I didn't get my GED until 26 years ago. I was pregnant with my oldest son.
Wow.
I mean, but I also was told by family, you're never going to amount to anything, just like your mom. And so to this day, I'm the only one with a 33-year marriage to the same man that fathered my children, who all have high school and college degrees and successfully financially and in their own adulthood. Hello, somebody.
Come on.
Wow. Wow.
That's because I'm not ashamed of who God made me.
Yeah.
Say that your life growing up helped push you to where you are right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I wouldn't want to take any of it back.
Mm.
I would not, because the only way I can even hear a woman, for instance, that says I've been abused, and then I have mental trauma and I have flashbacks. The only way I can understand that sister's heart is because I've been through that.
Mm.
That's the only way. There's no way that you can really come one-on-one with someone if you cannot relate. You can give them great advice. You can go to school and get all that great advice. But is it going to be authentically from a place where you've been, where you understand why she's crying when she's slayed to the gods?
Mm.
How are you going to understand that? The
Wow.
book can't tell you that.
Mm.
But I can tell you how to put on a mask.
Mm.
And go to work and make a whole lot of money and come home and cry your whole pillow, make it all completely a pool of water, cry yourself to sleep and wake up and repeat. I can show you. I can tell you how to do that. So if a woman tells me that, or when she tells me that, I get it, sis.
Mm.
I can tell them when they say I've been raped and molested. Me too, sis. I understand.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. But that's not your end road. See, now, because I asked God, I told God, I said, I'm hurting. I'm here. He said, and I want people to understand what I'm about to say, because everybody ain't able. He said, I know, and this is not the last time.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
You ain't got to warn you about another time. He ain't got to say nothing.
Mm.
But he did. And so therefore, I prepared myself for whenever that was going to be, knowing that I was in good hands.
Yeah.
So I'm very transparent because I'm good.
Yeah. You know, so much of what you have just said resonates with me, because even starting with the big lips, because as a child, I got teased a lot about the size of my lips. And it took a lot for me to, it took a long time, I should say, for me to understand what you just said, that there are women that are actually paying for these lips. Mm-hmm. And even being called beanpole and skinny and all of those things as a child, you know, I had to learn later that it's not skinny, but it's slim. I had to change the words. I had to turn those words around. It's not beanpole, but you're slender. make it more positive. And there are women that are dieting, that are trying to get your size.
Right.
When people would look at me and they would say, wow, you're real tall, I would say, no, I'm average. You're just short. I had to turn those things around, and so it took me a long time. And then when I heard you talk about family, the things that I went through with not being accepted by family, not or being misunderstood by family, I learned that family is not necessarily those that are related to you by blood. Those are relatives and kinfolk.
Come on.
But family are those that are connected to you spiritually, the ones that God has aligned with you. They're your sisters, they're your brothers. Jesus asked that on the cross. He was like, who is my mother? Who is my brother? And so although biologically I have one brother, I have many brothers and I have many sisters spiritually, and they are my family.
That's
So
right.
I can definitely relate to much of what you're saying. I was in real estate. I owned a real estate company. Didn't have a real estate license, but God showed me how to incorporate the company and hire a broker.
Smart.
It was only him. I had no clue, and but he showed me how to do it. And making crazy, stupid money until the market turned upside down in 2008. And like you said, having a big house and the lavish cars, and I was shopping like almost every day, girl, going out buying shoes and stuff. But you learn what is most important to you through those things, that it's not about the houses. It's not, all those things are great. It's not about, the houses. It's not about the cars. It's not about the designer shoes and all of those things. Your relationships, and relationship with God is most important to you. It should be more important to you. And so I can relate though. I can relate so much of what you're saying, even the red lips. There was a long time I would not see. I've got on red today.
You have just go put some on real quick.
Listen, there was a time when I was traumatized by a street preacher. I was in New York City visiting some family, and I was 13. I think I was about 13 years old, and we were going to Madison Square Gardens to see Teddy Pendergrass. And my mom had bought me this cute little red dress, and we were walking across the street, and there was a street preacher on the corner, and he called me a Jezebel.
I knew it.
He called me, yeah, here I am, 13 years old, and he called me a Jezebel for wearing red. And that thing traumatized me for years. I would not wear red at all. Nothing red. No.
Because that's what they would call women with red lips and red nails, Jezebels.
Wow. I know.
Yeah. I think that was like in the 60s, 70. I'm a 72 baby, 1972 baby. And that was just outlawed. My mom, she used to wear burgundy. She would never do the red. She would teeter-totter on that. But now I love it.
Yeah.
I don't know life without red lipstick. I don't have on any today, but I don't know life without red.
Listen.
Yeah, kind of don't make sense.
There, you need it.
Yeah.
It looks great. It looks great on you.
Thank you very much.
So
and
look,
I take a lot of pictures, and a lot of people ask, what lipstick is that? So Miss Christian, again, we got some things going on with that as well.
oh, okay. Y'all got your own thing coming out?
Working on it.
Sis, I love it.
I'm just gonna follow her lead on that. So she didn't say anything. I'm just gonna say, "Yep, that's what she just insinuated." That part.
I love that. I love that. I can see a whole campaign around that.
Mhm.
I love that. Wow. Okay. All right. I'm waiting. So, okay. So let's get back to some money, some finance. Let's talk to some of our viewers about credit, because there's a whole lot of folks that don't believe. I heard somebody say a few days ago that their credit score was okay, and I said, "Oh," I said, "Okay, well, where's your credit? What's your score?" And they said, "Oh, mid fives." And I'm like, "No, my dear, your credit is not good if you're in the mid fives."
Yeah.
Um, let's talk about what's a good score.
A good score is 700 and above.
Wow.
And I hear that all the time. Oh, I don't have a lot on my credit. It's not that bad. Well, what is your score? 560? I'm like, no. That is another part of the misconception about credit. So, first of all, let's just make this clear. Credit bureaus are not the government.
Right.
They're private entities that take advantage of our credit. And they make it sound like it's the big old scary bureau that we gotta, walk on eggshells around. And it's not, it's just private companies. They just that's why if you look at TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, they have 3 different numbers.
Mm-hmm.
They don't talk.
Mm-hmm.
They're competitors.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. And so at 560, if someone says, I pay my car note on time, I pay my mortgage on time, but I can't get past 560, that means there's some other stuff in your past that's still haunting you, that's still sitting on your neck and not going away. Why? Because we're caught up on that 7 to 10 years. 7 years is off. I got like a 1 day and 3 hours and it's gone. And then before you know it, it's sitting right back on there like, here I go. And we have to know that if they check your score, if they check your whereabouts, if they check to see if you still have a heartbeat, that time still ticks. It does not go away automatically. In the case of the 10 years for bankruptcies, it does not go away automatically. I had a 27-year-old student loan on my credit. I got it when I was 16. It stayed on my credit for 27 years.
Wow.
When I got financially educated, that's when the company removed it. Oh, what, 7 years? No, that's 7 years time 4 almost. It was just there, right? And so the problem with credit is that when people think that they can do it themselves because they know how it got there and it's free, that's when you create the domino effect of issues, stress level, and then eventually they're going to say, forget it. I'm good. Nobody's gonna give me credit anyway, so I ain't worried about it. That's what they're gonna say. I say, right? But that's not how we need to live. Not if you're gonna be an adult. You can't do that.
Right.
Until 18 and above. You gotta be prepared. So I tell everybody, if you have anything 5, 4, let's go back. 3, 4, 5, or 6, there's some issues that need to be resolved.
Yeah.
You're good at 700. That's when you have no delinquencies. And all you need to do is keep adding and building. A lot of people say, I don't want to use credit. Let's just get you in trouble. If you're irresponsible, it's going to get you in trouble. You got to know how much to use on a credit line. Like, for instance, $1,000 credit line, you can't spend more than $300. So, Sherelle, what about the rest of the $700? I want to spend that too. Well, then you don't want good credit. You got to stay below 30%.
Right.
You got to pay it on time. Well, I don't like this creditor. They make me sick. Pay it anyway. Because guess what? You're going to be the one that's going to get the raw end of the deal if you don't. They're good. Trust me, they got plenty of money.
Right.
You need to pay it like them or not because your score is going to reflect that. 35% is derogatory. How are you handling your credit? What are you doing with it?
Right.
30% is how much you spending. Keep it below 30%.
Mm.
Then you got whether you have installment versus revolving. In other words, a store credit card or a car loan.
Mm.
You got to have a balance. I tell people all the time, look, it's just like if you, I'm book smart. My husband is street smart.
Okay.
It's a balance.
Okay.
It's a balance, right? So you got to have a balance in your life, period, in order for it to be fulfilled. Same thing with your credit.
Mm.
You just got to know it's 5 components. You just got to know what those are so that you can do the right thing. But you got to make sure you got to get all the negative stuff just sitting there. We write letters. We're human, right? We're emotional. We write letters. My auntie put this on my credit and I didn't even know. And now I need it to come off because I have a family of my own. You just writing a whole paragraph. Meanwhile, all you have to use is the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And that simply states anything that's not 100% accurate has to be legally removed.
Yeah.
So erroneous, inaccurate, and obsolete. Obsolete is no longer in business. Erroneous, there's some error somewhere. Inaccurate, that's not where I lived. It has to be removed. 100% accuracy is what will only keep it on your credit. 9 out of 10 reports don't have them. 9 out of 10 reports contain problems.
Right.
So my student loan that was 27 years, it was obsolete. That school closed 26 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Okay. My bankruptcy, they misspelled my name. Come off my credit. My foreclosure, they had the address wrong. All of those things I did, my repossessions, had 2 cars that got repossessed. Inaccurate information. Take it off. And so when that happened, I started off with a 504 credit score. I now have a 790 credit score because all the negative things that I really did, a human typed it in wrong.
Mm.
So we leverage the fact that those issues are there, and legally you have to remove it. You can't fix it. You got to take it off. And so that's why I caution people, stop trying to do it yourself. Stop being emotional. Just get the law. That's all you need, the law. And by law, it has to happen. You can't have inaccurate things on your credit. Isn't that amazing?
It is. Now, I've also been told that a lot of times people focus too much on the removal and not on rebuilding.
Oh, that's good. That's good. We talked about that today, this morning, actually, because with the company that I'm with, I'm a franchise owner in. We focus on all of that. We focus on making sure that it's not just about removal, right? Like you can remove trash out your house, but it still might stink in there.
Right. Right.
You gotta fix the real issue.
Right.
The bottom line is, how are you gonna get past that? So once we remove all the negative items on your credit, then what? We got to show you how to rebuild it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The right way. Once we remove all the negatives, we got to show you how to save money so that you can have money for a rainy day. We got to show you how to budget your money. Don't put it on the mattress. It does not collect anything but lint and does. Okay. We have to show you how to create yourself a will and trust.
Mm.
We got to show you how to be an adult. Do the right stuff. Because if you just remove the negative items, in a few months, you're going to be, oh, I got good credit. Woo, let's go shopping. And before you know it, you're right back in the same position that you were in when you first called crying about, I got bad credit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the difference is I can do it myself because that's what my uncle told me. Or I can hire the professionals that will do it once and for all. Because I want once and for all. I'm 48 years old. I don't have time to be I don't have time to be playing.
Yeah, yeah.
It's time to make some real moves. And what's on your vision? What's on your dream? But what's in your heart?
Mm.
First,
Do you want to own a property that you can pass down to your family? Do you want to say, you know what? It's cold here in Virginia. I want to go to Miami. Let's go to Barbados. Let's go to the Bahamas. Can you do that
Yeah, yeah.
on a dysfunctional budget? No.
She said dysfunctional budget.
that's the first time I heard it, but it
Oh, me too.
Yeah. So we teach you how to do that. We provide a financial roadmap. We're going to show you how to do it. We have 14 services that's going to show you how to do every single thing that your heart desires financially. Listen, this thing changed my life so much. I'm a better mom. I can teach my children. I got 2 boys in their 20s that like nice sports cars. They have to have good credit. So that not only they can buy that, but they can insure it. My oldest son just turned 25. His credit is over 700.
Wow.
But it dropped even more because he just turned 25. Right? So we got to show this ain't what my old pastor used to say, this ain't about you, boo. It ain't about you, Charmaine, you, Kristen, you, Sherelle. It's about who we can teach.
Yes.
Who we can pass this down to.
Yes.
Who we can go up to, people that doctors, attorneys, people that have money.
Yes.
Teach them finances, not just having money. What does that do?
Yeah.
Show them how to manage it, how to master it. Then we got to reach down to our babies. My grandson just turned 4 years old. He knows money. He has a bank. He understands it. He knows what his coins look like. I'm getting him on the right path. So it's not about me.
Right.
That's why all of us do what we do, because we know the talents, the treasures that we have is to help somebody else.
Yes.
How our lives are enriched, right?
Yes.
So the planning of your finances is very, very key. And I promise you, it will take so much stress off of you that you're going to find a way to actually enjoy living. Because so many people are in dire straits trying to figure it out. We don't want you to have to figure it out.
right.
Yeah.
It's trainable. We're going to show you how to do it.
And so many other ethnic groups, they teach their children about business. They teach them about money. They teach them about credit. I remember someone of another persuasion, saying that when their child got ready to go off to college, their credit was already straight because they put them on their accounts. So as an authorized user. And so as their score, their credit was, good reporting, it was also reporting on their child's credit as well. So when he got ready to go to college, I mean, he was leaving in the 700s.
Absolutely.
We've got to teach our children.
Can we talk about that real quick?
Sure.
Okay, so a lot of people call me, a lot of people call other professionals in the industry and say, hey, I want to buy a couple of trade lines. Well, my first question is, what's your score? Oh, it's like 500, 600. Trade lines not going to help.
Mm-hmm.
That's the burglar bars after the break-in. Okay, it's not going to help. You have to have no negatives to make a trade line work. Because when you purchase, I'm talking 2 different categories. When you purchase a trade line, let's say you don't know anybody that has good credit. You purchase a trade line and it's only going to be on the credit for 3 months, 6 months, depending on how much you spend.
Right.
Okay. That 25-year credit card with $100,000 credit limit is only going to report for 3 months. So people typically will do that if they're like, okay, I got all my negatives off, and I don't have time to establish. And you go about his house to start this business. That would make sense. Now, how they can go off to college with good credit. Every one of my credit cards my children are authorized users on.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that
Mm-hmm.
until I started with this company, got educated.
Mm.
So every good deed I do, my children prosper from it.
Mm.
Now, if I fail to make a payment, they're going to also suffer. They're
Yeah.
going to suffer from that.
Yes.
So knowing that I have my kids on my credit card as an authorized user, it makes me that much more responsible.
Yeah.
Right? It makes me like, okay, no, don't go spend more than 30% because your kid, their credit is going to drop.
Yeah.
It's going to drop. And it could drop significantly. I was at an 802 at one point.
Mm.
I bought my new car. And then I let one of my kids, the baby boy, use my Best Buy card. And it went over.
Mm.
Right? I knew why it went over because I let him do it.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time I paid it, it already reported.
Mm.
It dropped my score 30 some odd points.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge, especially if you just now hitting 700 or if you just now hitting 650. That's huge. It could take you back to 500, which is poor.
Mm.
So yeah, you want to put, if you have great credit, if you're establishing credit and you're in the 650 and above range, you can add your family to your credit. Get your babies on there and start helping them establish, because it's going to help them when they want to go buy something of their own.
Right.
Now you have financial practices that's generational. Even my grandson, add them on there.
Yeah.
See, you know, when they say my mama put the
light bill and
my mama name, put the good stuff in your baby's name.
Good stuff.
So that's how they do it. And I want so much for our communities
Mm.
to not have to use them as an example.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You feel me? I don't want us to always say, well, that other races do this or that. No, we can do that too.
Absolutely.
We just got to open up our mind to be willing to allow this education, this financial quizzes even to be performed. We got quizzes on our website that's going to tell you if you're right or wrong, if you know what to do. We got so many tools.
Mm.
So we can be the example. Why can't we be the example?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Wow. So what's coming up? Do you have any workshops, seminars, any tell people how they could reach out to you? I mean, what do you have going on?
So I actually have webinars every night. Monday I train.
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday through Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Mm-hmm.
Giving all the goods. All the goodies.
Wow.
I teach about credit restoration. I teach about how to be financially responsible. I show them all the services that we provide. And then we take them into an opportunity if they want to add additional income to their household. Show them that too. So the opportunity to see this information is endless. I have a website, and actually my website is my name, SherelleAnderson.com. On there, you can see videos of my information. You can see a link with all the information listed. So if you're a reader, you can look at that. If you like to be visual, you can see that as well. You can always reach me on there. You can schedule an appointment on my website, SherelleAnderson.com. I am on Facebook as Sherelle Anderson. I'm on TikTok as I am Sherelle Anderson, and I'm on Instagram as I am Sherelle_Anderson. So if you can Google my name, you can find me anywhere. And I'm on Linktree as well as I am Sherelle Anderson. So if you can remember my name, you can reach out and we can answer. I can answer any questions that you have. Again, you know, I'm very transparent, been there, done that, and going back, Lord willing. And so I just want to help the next person to help a community of people. Before you know it, we can reach the whole U.S. We're also in Guam, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. So there's nowhere that I can't get to. You know, the pandemic kept us from being face-to-face, but we do webinars just like we're doing right now.
Yeah.
We build relationships that way. And it's not about a sale. It's not about getting you into a product. It's about you educating yourself, because the trajectory of your life is what matters.
Right.
And your family needs it. We're responsible for the next 3 generations in our family, period.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I tell you, in talking with you, I can see so much that that I would like to do through you to help others, because actually helping Black women, especially with their finances, and helping them to be able to start businesses and buying homes and that sort of thing, learning about stocks and bonds and mutual funds and all of those things have been something that we have incorporated with the Real Women Atlanta brand. Because so many of us don't know how, don't know that they even can. But when I stop and think about it, like you said, I mean, somebody that's spending, 1,000, 1,500 or more per month just paying rent.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually met people that have been renting for 15 years in the same place, the same apartment.
Mm.
And I'm thinking, but do you not have any idea how much money you're giving to someone else every year?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're helping somebody else become rich.
Oh yeah, they're paying off mortgages like crazy.
Yeah.
And even if it's a starter home, I helped my daughter 3 years ago to buy her home, and it's a starter home. It was under $100,000, but she loves it. Now she's not renting; she actually owns. And I would love to see that happen for a lot of women, especially women who have children, and because they can pass something down to their children. So like I said, I could see a lot of ways that we could work with you and work through you to help others. We're definitely on board.
Thank you so much. I have a mission, myself and my team, to help 1,000 women this year
Wow.
become homeowners.
Wow.
1,000. And I believe it can happen because, we have 50 states. If we just go get a few people out of each state.
Wow.
Even if we don't go each state, we can do that right here. I'm in Atlanta.
Right here in the ATL.
We're right here in Atlanta.
Right here in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
That can be done. Wow. Well, listen, we're on board with you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Kristen, were you trying to say something?
Oh no, I'm your hallelujah choir right here.
Yeah, we're definitely on board with you. So I'm going to get with you because there are things I once put together. I'm one of these people that God constantly gives ideas to. I can't keep up with all of them, but I know a few years ago he had given me this home ownership package that I put together even with a voucher. I never got it out there. I was trying to find a mortgage broker that had some type of creative program that they could use to help, because usually the biggest thing for people is the down payment. So I was trying to find a mortgage company that had some type of creative down payment assistance program that could fit well with this package. Mm-hmm. Have people to go through a class where they're learning about budgeting, they're learning about learning about home ownership and learning about credit and all of those things while they're in this class, and then take them through the mortgage process. But so I definitely want to reach out to you and talk further about that, how we can make something like that happen.
Wonderful. I will be honored to have you come alongside of us. And I know that mission is going to be complete. I know it's going to exceed that. because people are really, really hungry for it.
Mhm.
This pandemic, I don't see it as being the worst thing ever. I see that it really has, enlightened a lot of people on what needs to be done. We've been kind of lax on a lot of things, and this is really like putting in our face what has to be done.
Yeah.
You mentioned the down payment is a big struggle for a lot of people that have great credit, got their taxes together, and they're just ready. And then the down payment comes, and then it kind of boots them out of the system for a minute.
Mhm.
There's down payment assistance programs, and they're mostly based, if not just on credit. A lot of them you have to have at least a 700 credit score.
Mhm.
So if you can spend a couple dollars getting your credit restored to save thousands, wouldn't it be worth it?
Yeah.
And they take you through an educational process, so you're not just jumping into a house. You know how you're getting there.
Mhm. Mhm.
I love being a realtor because I'm able to walk them through. I call myself that bridge.
Mhm.
Bad credit renting, then me, then their house.
Mhm. Mhm.
I love that. And a lot of people don't understand the process. So I do home buyer workshops as well, so that people can understand how to get there. As soon as you say, when are you buying your new home?
Mm.
Everybody that's watching right now picture the new house.
Mhm.
Aren't
Mhm.
we visual? Y'all did.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's visual. You're picturing the moving boxes, the moving truck, the paint,
Wow.
even the paint all over your hands. You picture you wiping sweat. You're picturing you in that new home. And
Mm.
that's the question I ask everybody when they say, I want to get my credit restored so I can purchase a home. I'm
Wow.
always going to ask you, when are you buying your new house? Number one, I'm giving you that ownership.
Right.
I need you to understand it's yours.
Yes.
Then
Yes.
let's go through that process so we can get you those keys.
Yes.
It's very important to understand how to do that, what services are offered,
Right.
how you're going to do it without breaking the bank. If you're going to get money from a borrowed source, that even has requirements that you have to meet. So many different things that it takes to become a homeowner. And I just want to kind of open this up
Mhm.
and provide as much value as I can so that people can go ahead and make those decisions. And of course, there's people that like renting because they don't know where they want to plant themselves at.
Mhm.
Even those people, if you're watching, even you can benefit from being financially educated, because guess what? Someone may say, I love condo living, I love high-rise living, and they may be renting it from a management company. But what if you can purchase one?
Mhm.
Use that same management company
Mhm.
while you're figuring out where you want to plant yourself. And then when you figure that out, rent that one out. Now you're an investor.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
It's much bigger than that white picket fence, right?
Absolutely.
Much bigger.
Well, Miss Sherelle Anderson, we thank you so much for being with us on our show. We're coming to the end, and I just want to remind all of our viewers to follow her tonight. SherelleAnderson.com. You can go to her website and get all of the information that you need. She's on at 8:00 Tuesday through Saturday at 8:00. You can watch her on her webinar. You can follow her on Instagram. I am Sherelle Anderson. You can follow her on TikTok.
Yeah.
I am Sherelle Anderson.
I am Sherelle Anderson.
And Facebook. TikTok. Look for the beautiful sister with the red lipstick and the blonde hair. Thank you so much. Not just for being on the show, but thank you for being transparent today. You've helped many people today with your transparency. You have, with your honesty and with your truth. There are people who needed to hear where you have been. Because sometimes, like we say on the show, people can see the glory, but they don't know the story.
That's right.
Yeah. And so we thank you so much for availing yourself to us today and to our listeners. And we look so forward to much more with you. Thank you so much, sis. Thank you so much.
It is my pleasure. Thank you, Charmaine, for spotlighting this. It's so greatly needed. I honor you. I celebrate you, sis. Thank you. And Kristen, absolutely love you. Thank you for allowing me to share this platform with you. And I'm so excited. Can't wait to talk about you and all that you're doing as well. Ladies, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, guys. So, viewers, we will be here again next Saturday at 1 o'clock. You've been watching Real Women Atlanta live. We love you and look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye. Thank you, Raheem.